Time I should inform thee, Father. Lend thy hand, and pluck my magic garment from me, for 'tis time for you to know.
You have often begun to tell me what I am, but stopped and left me to a bootless inquisition, concluding, stay, not yet.
The hour's now come. The very minute bids thee. Minute, open thine ear, obey, and be attentive. 12 years since, Miranda, 12 years, since thy father was the Duke of Milan and a prince of power.
Sir, are not you my father?
Thy mother was a piece of virtue, and she said thou wast my daughter. And thy father was the Duke of Milan, and his only heir and princess no worse issue.
Oh, the heavens! What foul play had we that we came from thence? Or blessed was it that we did?
Both, my girl. By foul play, as thou sayest, were we heaved thence, but blessedly hope hither.
Oh, my heart bleeds to think of the teen that I have turned you to, which is from my remembrance. Please you, farther.
My brother and thy uncle, called Antonio, pray thee mark me, that a brother should be so perfidious. He whom next thyself, of all the world I loved, and to him put the manage of my state, as at the time, through all signories, it was the first. And Prospero, the prime duke, being so reputed in dignity and for the liberal arts, without a parallel study. The government I cast upon my father, my brother, and to my state grew stranger, being transported and wrapped in secret studies. Thy false uncle, dost thou attend me?
Sir, most heedfully.
Being once perfected, how to grant suits, how to deny them, who to advance and who to trash for overtopping, new created, the creatures that were mine, I say, or changed them, or else new formed them. Having with the key of officer in office set all hearts in the state, to what tune pleased his ear, that now he was the ivy which had hid my princely trunk, and sucked my verdure out onto it. Thou attendest not.
Oh, good sir, I do.
I pray thee, mark me, I thus neglecting worldly ends, all dedicated to closeness and the bettering of my mind, with that which, but by being so retired, overprized all popular rate, in my false brother, await an evil nature, and my trust, like a good parent, did beget of him, a falsehood in its contrary as great, as my trust was which had indeed no limit, a confidence sans bound. He being thus lorded, not only with what my revenue yielded, but what my power might else exact, like one, who having into truth by telling of it, made such a sinner of his memory, to credit his own lie, he did believe he was indeed the Duke. Out of the substitution, and executing the outward face of royalty, with all prerogative, hence, his ambition growing. Dost thou hear?
Your tale, sir, would cure deafness.
I have no scream between this part he played, and him he played it for. He needs will be absolute Milan. Me, poor man, my library was dukedom, large enough of temporal royalties. He thinks me now incapable. Confederates, so dry he was for sway, with the King of Naples, to give him annual tribute, do him homage, subject his coronet to his crown, and bend the dukedom yet, unbowed alas, poor Milan, to most ignoble stooping.
Oh, the heavens!
Mark his condition and the event, then tell me if this might be a brother.
I should sin to think but nobly of my grandmother. Good wombs have borne bad sons.
Now the condition, the King of Naples being an enemy, to me inveterate, hearkens my brother's suit, which was that he, in lieu, owe the premises of homage, and I now know not how much tribute should presently extirpate me and mine out of the dukedom, and confer, fair Milan, with all the honors on my brother, whereon a treacherous army levied one midnight, fated to the purpose did Antonio open the gates of Milan, and in the dead of darkness the ministers for the purpose hurried thence, me and thy crying self.
Back, for pity, I not remembering how I cried out then, will cry it o'er again. It is a hint that rings mine eyes to it.
Here a little further, and then I'll bring thee to the present business, which now's upon's, without the which the story were most impertinent.
Wherefore did they not that hour destroy us?
My tale provokes that question, dear, they durst not, so dear the love my people bore me, nor set a bloody mark so bloody on the business, but with colours fair painted their foul ends. In few, they hurries us, aboard a bark, bore us some leagues to sea, where they prepared a rotten carcass of a boat, not rigged, nor tackle, sail, nor mast, the very rats instinctively had quit it. There they hoist us, to cry to the sea that roared to us, to sigh to those winds whose pity sighing back again did us but loving wrong.
Alack, what trouble was I then to you?
Oh, a cherubim, thou wast that did preserve me, thou didst smile, infused with a fortitude from heaven, when I had decked the sea with drops full of salt, under my burthen groaned, which raised in me an undergoing stomach to bear up against what should ensure.
How came we ashore?
By providence divine, some food we had and some fresh water, that a noble Neapolitan, Gonzalo, out of his charity, being then appointed master of this design, did give us, with which garments, linens, stuffs, and necessaries, which since have steaded much, so of his gentleness. Knowing I loved my books, he furnished me, from mine own library, with volumes that I prize above my dukedom.
Would I might but ever see that man?
Now I arise, resumes his mantle, sit still, and hear the last of our sea sorrow. Here in this island we arrived, and here have I, the schoolmaster, made thee more profit than other princesses. Can that have more time? For vainer hours and tutors not so careful.
Heavens thank you for it, and now, I pray you, sir, for still 'tis beating in my mind, your reason for raising this sea storm.
Now thus far forth, by accident, most strange bountiful fortune, now, my dear lady, hath mine enemies brought to this shore, and by my prescience I found my zenith doth depend upon, a most auspicious star, whose influence, if now I court but omit my fortunes, will ever after droop. Here cease more questions. Thou art inclined to sleep. 'Tis a good dullness, and give it away. I know thou canst choose.